Okay, thanks. Now I can complain about the Mariners now that we've officially started recording.
You got the catch of the year at the cost of
The catch of the year put Victor Robles on the 10-day IL. So
dude, it was a sick catch, but that scorpion was nasty.
Okay, never mind. You know what? I had this whole... I was like... I thought I was correct about the stat, and then I looked and I was like, oh, man, I'm not. I can't even complain about the Mariners' batting average with runners in scoring position because it improved a bunch because they won yesterday against the Astros. And I am happy about that. But thank you. You reminded me about what my Mariners Family Circus segment could be. So
I'm so excited. I don't know if you know this, but I'm just
I know you love to
beaming with
complain
joy
about the Mariners.
Yeah,
it's
and it's just hard because it's just not relatable for me. I think it's like
because your baseball team is so good.
They did drop a couple this week, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, well, let's get after it.
Let's get it.
Welcome to the house, episode 36. If you need homeless or at-risk youth services, including but not limited to behavioral health treatment, you can take it to my house, 300 North Willow Street in downtown Wasilla.
Whoop, whoop.
Isaac Smolden, Brian Fields.
Go Dodgers.
Matching outfits today, except one of us has a hat for a much better baseball team on.
Yeah.
So other than that, we are the same.
We're just twinning, Isaac.
Twinning.
Mm-hmm.
Some big... I
need a Shaq face in there where he's like...
The Hot Ones meme?
Yeah.
Ozzy, can you find the Hot Ones meme? Okay, thanks. Some big records getting broken this week, but there's a bigger basketball story.
There's a huge basketball
that we should spend some time on.
Oh, man.
The Nuggets. What?
What? What is right?
This is a choice. This is a choice.
It's an interesting choice with 4 games left in the season when you're 2 games back from third place?
And
you're on a 4-game losing streak.
But this is a decision that is because of the 4-game losing streak and because of where they're at in the standings is what the official explanation was.
I don't think it's the 4-game losing streak. I think that's a cop-out. I think what it really comes down to...
that's a scapegoat.
I think it's
part of a deeper... You're going deep on this one.
So it's not even that deep, right? The thing is that Michael Malone came out in a press conference and was like... essentially was just like, yeah, we had a really deep message for them, and essentially said none of his players watch film and that they have to show them film all the time. And that they have to be just put them on blast. And he's been known to just like throw players and like his team under the bus.
Did we even say what happened? Michael Malone got fired. And Booth got the stinky boot as well.
Yeah.
The GM.
Yeah. And so, and then there's also like a video of just like a disgruntled Jokic who's been like going off in losses. And so like, I think the real thought process is that they felt like Michael Malone had lost the locker room.
Right. And then a bunch of Nuggets fans said, what the heck? Why are you firing our head coach? Fire our GM. And then they went, bet. And also asked, okay,
sure.
Cool. Kabam.
Gosh, man, This is like worse than the Jets, like signing people based on Madden ratings.
So the GM thing, so that's what a lot of people wanted. But the coach thing, sure. Okay, so he lost the locker room. However, is a new head coach going to gain the locker room with 4 games left in the regular season?
And then take that into the playoffs? So, like, if they go into their next game...
Michael Malone, by the way, for those that don't know, one of the longest tenured coaches in the NBA.
Yeah. What is he, 10 seasons?
Something like that. I think Greg Popovich was
longer. 2 seasons removed from winning a title?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Right.
And so, like, if you get a spark, let's say you get a spark in your next game and you're like... Because sometimes that happens. Sure. A new coach, like, I'm so happy he's gone because I hated that guy, right? You get a spark, But what happens if you get that spark and you still lose? That coach is not going to be able to rebound from that going into the playoffs, going into more physical defense, going into more like physical play, period. Teams are like, stars are playing more minutes. I just don't understand. If you want to fire him, cool, fire him. But wait till after the season.
Yeah, I don't really know how this can get. This seems like a lose-lose. I don't know how this gets better for Denver. You're on a skid. Like, what's the best?
They're like, it's on fire. It's on fire.
Proceeds to pull out the flamethrower.
Yeah. Okay, here's some gas. This should do it. This will definitely.
Man, I know we're in a hole right now. Here's a shovel.
Yeah,
let's start digging. This sounds like attic behavior.
This is.
Do they need help? Do they?
If you need help, please call 907-373-4335.
Does Kroenke need does he need like a 12-step group or something?
Man, I don't.
This is classic self-sabotaging behavior.
I just don't think I don't think you could really like explain this. I don't think it's literally like the Luka trade where like I don't know how you sit in front of your fans and logically explain this without just sounding like a total ding-dong.
A lot of confused Nugget fans that are happy that their GM got gassed and confused about why the coach had to go first. Now, quick question before we go. Mm-hmm. When the Nuggets beat the Lakers in the playoffs, what will you do after this?
That's super funny. So,
can you imagine?
Listen to me. Divorce court, child support, Lou Dort, Lakers in 5. Channel my inner Shannon Sharp there, dude. I don't think I mean, we already came in and we're super physical in Denver, and beat them. And then not only that, the Lakers. Everybody thought they were going to lose 5 out of their next 6, and they've done the opposite. And
Lakers look pretty good right now,
and have lost only 1 game. In this stead, that was supposed to be like the eye opening of what the Lakers are. And especially with their game on Sunday where they went to the number 1 seed's house and just punched them right in the mouth.
What's crazy to me is that you still are skeptical on the Luka trade. You're still concerned.
I have concerns about Luka. Yeah.
Everything has gone right so far, and you still are like not willing to just take a good thing at face value.
Because I just don't love Luka's game style. I never have. It's weird to me. I feel that he gives up on plays. I feel like sometimes if teams get like really physical with him, he gets frustrated and shuts down. And like that's not going to win you a championship. And so I have concerns, and I just don't. And it as a lead, like regardless of whether he wants to be a leader, he's one of the best players in the building. So he's automatically a leader of that team. So what message are you sending to the rest of your team, right? It automatically titrates down to the rest of the energy where it's just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll jog up the field or up the court if you're going to walk. Like you're literally walking in the middle of a game.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that. However, I think
I need to accept it, but it's just hard because I don't like his gameplay. I don't like it.
You are the biggest Lakers fan. You're all excited that they're having all this success.
I just got to process.
And all you do is like, man, the players on this team, though, hate every single one of them. Hate LeBron, hate Luka. Like,
I've always hated LeBron. I've always hated LeBron. I've had to temper that back. That took like a year to process. I don't think I fully accepted it when he became to the Lakers until they won that championship.
Regardless of what happens, if the Lakers win a championship this year, trading for Luka was the right decision, correct?
I don't think they can.
Okay. Well, you would know more than me, so we will see. We're only a couple games away.
I don't know how you beat some of these teams in a 7-game series with no real like defense help.
Sure, we will find out. Mariners Family Circus bit, but I feel like the music isn't justified on this. Maybe if we can put the funeral dirge in the background from medieval times, like dun, 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 dun. Okay, so Victor Robles makes one of the greatest catches I've ever seen in a baseball game. That it is let me set the scene. The Mariners are playing the San Francisco Giants. They are struggling out of the gate. At the time, they are 3-6. What? Why is that a weird name?
It's not the name. New York Giants. Just the fact that you guys suck against the San Francisco Giants,
who are playing their best baseball right now. So, anyway,
they still suck.
Let me
What
have
does that
my.
say?
Can I just have my piece here? So, let me set the scene. The Mariners are 3-6 coming into this game. They've lost the last
Spoiler alert,
two.
Mariners suck.
They've lost the last 2 games to the Giants. They need to win this game to avoid being swept. Randy Arozarena ties the game at 4. It is the bottom of the 9th, and there's a runner on first base with 1 out. Victor Robles on a foul ball dives into the netting, snatches the ball, scorpions in one of the most painful looking videos you can possibly watch.
Just immediate
That's
regret.
on the internet. Just sacrificing his body for the good of the team.
Sacrificial lamb.
Dislocates his shoulder, has to be carted off the field. Runner makes it to second. Runner actually makes it to third. The Mariners challenge and say, hey, that ball was out of play. He goes to second. There are 2 outs. The Mariners are laying it on the line. Next batter, single, game over, runner from second scores. Victor Robles laid down his life, and the least you guys could do was get a win and not get swept. But no, we can have no nice things. Immediate pain. We beat the Astros yesterday. Whoop-de-doo. That's what I got.
I know my buddy told me that like he was real proud, and I was like, you sound dumb.
Hey, beating the Astros, listen, everything is forgiven if you could win like even 4 out of 6 against the Astros and the Rangers this week, because you don't need to beat the Giants. You just need to beat, if you just won all your games in your division,
Yeah.
it'd be great. That's baseball.
Fantastic.
So I'll forgive everything if you can maybe get 2 out of 3 against the Astros this week. That'd be fantastic. Okay, Alex Ovechkin, big hockey news, and this is one that you actually knew about. I'm very, very happy.
Yep.
Alex Ovechkin breaks Wayne Gretzky's scoring record, 895 goals. The greatest goal scorer of all time. Yes. And you also have seen the video. What's funny is that one of the Wolverines win songs now in the locker room is Bands That Make Her Dance, because Alex Ovechkin has his pregame ritual with Jacob Chikrin where he just says Bands That Make Her Dance in a very, very thick Russian accent before going onto the ice. And they do this little shoulder thing. It's very nice. So he's at home. He's 3 goals away from
cool is
breaking the
that
record. I know.
Dude, yeah.
I know. And it's kind of nice because he gets his moment at home when he ties the record.
Yeah.
What's also cool is that we were on the bus going to Soldotna. I was with the team, and we had the game hooked up to the bus TVs. Yeah. So so also kind of a funny story here. The Capitals are on the power play. Ovechkin has scored 1 goal away from tying the record. Caps are on the power play. Loose puck bouncing to the back door. Here comes Alex Ovechkin. He's getting ready to slam the puck into the back of the net. Chicago Blackhawks defenseman goes, ah! And turns and freaks out. Just turns and whips his stick and bats the puck into the back of his own net. The Chicago Blackhawks, you can't break the record against us if we score on ourselves. So that's before he ties the record.
Yeah.
Next power play opportunity, because the refs understood the assignment apparently, which is we're going to call so many penalties against the Blackhawks just to give Ovi every opportunity to break the record tonight. Ovi, puck through the seam, just classic Alexander Ovechkin goal right from the office, tees up the one-timer. Everyone knows it's coming, and you still can't stop it. Everyone comes onto the ice, big moment. There's an empty net opportunity to break the record with a hat trick. Before he can get onto the ice, off the face-off in the Caps defensive zone, Leonard, new guy, 3rd game in the NHL, pokes it away from the defenseman and steals Alex Ovechkin's hat trick goal by scoring his first NHL goal. And Ovi's all excited and just laughing and high-fiving him because he doesn't care. He's just happy the team won. The team scored. Next day against the Islanders, literally the same thing. You could not ask for a more perfect Alex Ovechkin scoring title, breaking goal, just through the seam from the office, slap shot, scores, Superman dive on the ice. They bring out his kids and his wife and his mom, and Wayne Gretzky's there, and they do this whole ceremony on the ice, which sucks if you're the Islanders because they're up 2-0. and then Alex Ovechkin breaks it, and what proceeds next is like a 20-minute stoppage in the game. Not only do all his teammates come out and everything, but then all the Islanders do like a handshake line with Ovi at center ice before he can, before they even start the ceremony, the last person in line is Ilya Sorokin, the goaltender, who has to shake Alex Ovechkin's hand like, hey, man, way to just score on me right there and cut the lead to 1. Super funny. But super cool moment. Super cool that we get to witness history.
Yeah.
I know where I was when Alex Ovechkin scored to break the record. I was on the way to church watching the game on my phone because the game started at 8:30 Alaska time. Yeah, super cool. And then the Islanders ended up winning that game, which kind of sucks. But other than that, super great moment. And so that kind of leads us into, well, do you have anything on that outside of that other than Bands that make a dance?
No, I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's cool anytime that you get an opportunity to see history be made. And congratulations.
Yeah.
And I'm about to roast you.
Okay, that brings us into our house divided. And the topic is what's more impressive, Alex Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's record for goals scored regular season in a career, or LeBron James breaking the NBA all-time scoring record. And let's start by saying I am not the best person to talk about LeBron James breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record, and you are not the best person to talk about Alex Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's record.
Yeah.
So this is going to be super inflammatory, and we're not going to know exactly what we're talking about. But let's just do it. Let's generate some content. So why don't you begin with filling me in on some of the facts about LeBron James breaking the scoring record?
Okay. Well, I mean, let's just look at it, right? So LeBron James breaks Kareem's scoring record, which was a record that, when set, appeared to be unbreakable, which is 38,000 all-time scoring in the NBA, which is an insane and takes like so much consistency. Like, you have to average, you know what I mean, around like 25 points per season minimum, and he obviously went above that to be able to even like sniff at that number. Like, the ability to be able to do that is insane, and there's not been a player in history that has been able to match the longevity of LeBron James, right? But let's look at it real quick. Ovechkin broke his record in 1,487 games.
One short of the games played by Wayne Gretzky.
Okay.
Yes.
So LeBron broke his record. Okay, Kareem set his record at 1,560 games. LeBron broke that record in 1,410 games.
Pretty good.
That's 150 games fewer than Kareem.
Pretty good.
Not pretty good. That's also 77 games fewer than Ovechkin.
Okay, that does not seem like a fair comparison at all. But please continue with your other points, or am I allowed to rebuttal? Provide the facts on the ground for the Ovechkin.
I mean, I don't think that there is a rebuttal. 150 games faster. It took Ovechkin the same amount of time it took Gretzky. That's not that impressive. He just had a similar career. So LeBron has exceeded, not just been like, hey, I'm matching you. I am dominating you. And not only that, I am still, he set the record last year. So there's a whole nother season of scoring. He's probably going to play next year. So that's a whole nother season of scoring. Like, I don't remember what the total is at now.
That is true. Now, I'd like to say that at the very least, the longevity aspect, the fact that that record is going to continue, I expect will be at the very least neutral, because Ovechkin is not retiring after this season either, as far as anyone knows. And he's a 43 goal scorer at 39. If he's able to do that at 39, he definitely has more hockey in him. So you are on paper,
but he's on his way out.
So is LeBron.
Yeah.
So
sure.
you are
LeBron
on paper.
Broke his last year.
You are correct about the games played aspect on paper. But let me get a little math on you.
Paper.
Let me get a little math on you, because LeBron James has played when scoring in the NBA is down. He has played when scoring in the NBA has been up. Am I accurate in saying that? There have been several different eras of NHL hockey that LeBron James has played under.
In NHL hockey.
Sorry, what am I talking about? There have been several different eras of NBA basketball LeBron has played under.
Sure.
Sometimes scoring has been down, sometimes
this
scoring has been up.
This is what. So this is I cannot. You cannot use eras of a league to define a player's greatness.
I disagree.
That's the most
the
ridiculous.
The era has so much to do with when the player is. And this is also
because
why
you don't have any tangible proof to prove that any of that matters.
I do.
No, you don't.
I'm about to tell you.
All right, let's hear it.
So this is also why people that say, and again, these are two very different players that scored in two very different ways, but this is also why Alex Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer. Notice I don't say player, but goal scorer of all time. Alex Ovechkin started his career, first of all, a year late. He should have been able to play his rookie season in a year sooner, but was unable to because there was an NHL lockout for an entire season. So he missed the first year of his career. Played from the 2004-2005 season, I believe it is, or maybe it was 05-06 to now through the 2024-2025 season. At the beginning of Alex Ovechkin's career, for an extended period of time, scoring was at its lowest in NHL history since the creation of the forward pass. You used to not be able to move the puck forward. You used to have to drop it behind you. So he started his career in an era where scoring was the lowest in the modern era of hockey. And so NHL, I don't know, I couldn't find the stat for the NBA, but in NHL, there's a stat called adjusted goals that does factor in eras. And Alex Ovechkin, had you factored in, this is when he was playing, this is what scoring was like in the league, this is how big of an impact he's had on the game, this is how insane it is that his scoring totals and his level of play was elevated to that point when he was playing. His adjusted goals per game right now is 999. Wayne Gretzky is not even second on the list in adjusted goals per era. He has 758 adjusted goals per era because he played
that's
when
a theoretical stat.
He played when
that
scoring
is a theoretical stat, and that's why the NBA doesn't have it.
People were literally scoring 8 goals a game.
That doesn't make any sense.
Alex Ovechkin,
like to just be like, okay, if I took this player and put him here, this is what he would do. You have no idea how to
point
measure
is
that.
Clearly both these things are very, very impressive. My point is that Alex Ovechkin had a harder path to do what he did. Because just like LeBron, there's the longevity piece.
Oh my!
Just
God,
like LeBron, there's the fact that no one ever thought that this record was going to be broken. And not only did Ovechkin break it, but he broke it scoring. Route. He broke it while playing when it was the hardest time in NHL history to score goals.
There's generations of kids that don't know what the NBA Finals are like without LeBron James.
How is that an argument? We're talking about regular season points. I'm not talking, and this is the all-time. If this is what we're arguing, I'd agree with you.
Scoring record.
If this is what we were arguing about, I'd agree with you. I mean, debating cordially. So if you're saying LeBron James is higher on the Mount Rushmore of basketball players than Alex Ovechkin is on the Mount Rushmore of hockey players, I'd agree with you. But this is what's more impressive: LeBron breaking the scoring title or Ovi breaking?
But that's what I'm talking about. What your argument is that he had a harder path.
100%. That's what we're debating.
Then you have to look at era. No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
That's a made up stat. That's a
if we're not looking
stat.
at era, if we're not looking at which was harder to do. Then what are we talking about?
Somebody roast this man.
Then what are we talking about?
That's a theoretical stat. There's no way to.
This is a theoretical argument. We're talking about an NBA player versus an NHL player.
But there's no way to appropriately measure that stat.
Then what's this debate?
That it's more I mean that.
If we don't have a way to measure this, then what are we even having the conversation about? Obviously, it's not a good one-to-one. I'm saying based off the comparisons we can make. Time that Ovechkin was played, he scored more goals than Gretzky when it was harder to score goals than Gretzky.
Okay.
Based off of my understanding of when LeBron has played, He's played when scoring was down. He's played when scoring was up. Scoring has only been up in the NHL recently, kind of gradually getting there. And so my point is that LeBron had a comparable path to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whereas Ovechkin had a significantly more challenging path than Gretzky and still broke in the same amount of time.
That's false, though. That's what I'm trying to say is that, like, LeBron had to go through fire to get to where he is today, right? Like, it's not, sure, some of the scoring went up as defensive rules changed and da-da-da, but LeBron came in with the weight of the world on his shoulders as an 18-year-old kid who did not go to college, mind you, did not go to college, came in as an 18-year-old out of high school and has dominated since he took the court.
So he was so good at basketball that he didn't have to go to college and he just was ready to play in the NBA.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Sounds like it's easier for him to do what he's doing than it would be for Ovechkin to break into a league after losing his rookie season.
That's a ridiculous argument.
But that's the argument you're making.
That's a ridiculous argument.
But that's the argument you're making.
No, it's not. What I'm saying is you cannot deem that his route was more challenging with how much
based off
LeBron had to go through.
The era adjusted stats that people much smarter than me do.
That's the dumbest stat I've ever heard.
Based off of the math and the calculations for how easy was scored, how many goals were scored, how easy was it, how was the state of goaltending, what were save percentages like. All of that is factored into determining how easy or difficult it is to score in an era.
How could you possibly know that just because in this time and period these people couldn't score, that that's how it would be for this individual player? That's ridiculous. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
That's the only stat that you can use when you're having this argument.
That's the dumbest stat I've ever heard of.
But this is the dumbest conversation we've ever had.
I mean,
because that is what we are trying to debate.
It doesn't have anything to do with an era. We're talking about skill versus skill, right? And who has more of a skill and who has a more impressive accomplishment than the other one. That doesn't have anything to do with saying hey, if I took this player from 2014 and put him in 2004, he wouldn't have scored any goals. But if I put him in 2016, he scores 3 goals. That's what? What are we talking about?
Well, we're trying to talk about which was more difficult.
That's that's like LeBron coming out and saying if Antetokounmpo played in 77, he would have scored 250 points. There's no way to measure that. You have no idea. Antetokounmpo is an insane player, right? But there's an argument that he would have caught an elbow to the ribs and been out for 4 weeks.
So again, I would argue that makes it more difficult to score when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is playing versus when LeBron is playing.
But LeBron came in the league in 2004 when people like Shaq were still in the league.
Yeah, but there wasn't actual street fights on the court that was called basketball.
Okay, because it wasn't as unprofessional. That means it wasn't still physical defensively.
Again, I would like to point out
as an 18-year-old
I'd like to point out that basically nothing about the era of hockey that I'm talking about, and I know basically nothing about the era of NBA basketball, which makes us again very bad people to have this argument. However, based off my understanding of the eras of NBA basketball, was significantly harder to score back when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing, and there were just flying elbows zipping over the court, giving people grade C concussions left and right.
That's not
versus when LeBron came into the league, and that's
take,
the opposite. Dude. Well, you had the old man take last week, so now I'm not allowed to have an old man take. Versus in the NHL, scoring was way easier when Wayne Gretzky was playing, and it was much harder when Ovi was playing. To me, it's the
skill levels
opposite.
Were way different. The reason why that was bad fundamental basketball.
I feel like we're going in circles.
We are going in circles.
And so we need to shut this down.
Dude, vote in the comments. LeBron is the GOAT. Just leave it alone.
Is there anyone that watches the NBA and the NHL? Because
I don't know.
They're so tough sport. They're going on at the same time.
Yeah.
We need someone that is an expert in both to weigh in on this. Yeah. I don't even know who that is.
I don't either. I'm trying to think. Maybe Joel. I don't know if he watches NBA anymore.
I don't know.
Someone
tell us.
Joel,
or just argue in the comments, whatever. It's fine. Even when we're rooting against each other, sports still brings together.
I know it doesn't feel like that after that last segment, but we're still friends. It's going to be okay.
That's what makes it fun. We will see you next time on To the House with playoffs.
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 We're talking about playoffs.
Playoffs?
Bruh. Lakers in 5.